Hello everyone, I am Nadia Adrus from Faculty of Chemical and Energy Engineering, University Teknologi Malaysia. Together with my co-authors, I am here to present to you my project on the biopolymers from various natural resources and also biodegradable polyesters with shape memory effects. Here are the motivations why this project has been done. First of all, think about the synthetic polymers and why they are useful. They are useful because of three main parameters. It is recycled, it is cheap, and it is also light and strong. However, there is one concern on using synthetic polymers, that is, these materials are not biodegradable. Hence, if you see the right picture here, you see that the synthetic polymers have large volume occupied in the landfill because of non-biodegradable effects. Hence, our project focuses on developing or exploring the polymers which are biodegradable. So let's have a look into polymers and also their origins. So here we can see that we have 4 categories of plastics. So the conventional one is the non-biodegradable and also made of fossil. So these conventional plastics can be found in the commodity plastics like polyethylene, polypropylene, polyethylene terephthalate, and so on. Bio-based plastics can also be non-biodegradable, and an example is given here. So nowadays, the focus is on the biodegradable plastics. So of course, the earlier research was focused on the fossil-based, such as these plastics, including PCl, which is polycarbonate. And later, the bioplastics are also made from bio-based so that they are also biodegradable. Examples are PLA, PHA, PBS, starch blends, and so on. So let us focus into these two categories, which is the biodegradable plastics, either made from bio-based or fossil-based. So the sources for biodegradable plastics or biodegradable polymers are directly extracted from biomass. Example, polysaccharides, proteins, lipids, and etc. Or it can be produced directly from natural organism. Example of these polymers are PLA, PGA, PHA, and so on. Meanwhile, for synthetic biodegradable polymers, they are produced using chemical reactions to produce various polymers such as aliphatic polyesters, such as PLA. Okay, PLA can be also produced from natural base and also from synthetic base, and also their copolymers. Other synthetic biodegradable polymers are water-based, like polyvinyl alcohol, polyvinyl acetate, and so on. Here, in these slides, I would like to focus on the biopolymers, which can be extracted from various natural resources. So here we see that sources of biopolymers can be extracted from agricultural waste, for instance, from pineapple field. Here you see that this is pineapple plantation and the fruit of pineapple. The fibers from the pineapple leaves can be taken to give us the sources of fibers. So this is the leaves after it is extracted, and this is the pineapple leaf fiber being collected from the pineapple leaves. So in Malaysia, we have about 400 metric ton pineapples produced, and from this from these numbers, we can see that prior to this invention, there is no appropriate method to handle the pineapple residues. That means from the core, from the leaves, and so on. Okay, after harvesting, all these agriculture waste are disposed via open burning, which is not good for environment. And the most important thing is that the agriculture waste, especially from this pineapple, actually is the sources of biopolymers because it contains from 69 to 85% of cellulose. Okay, meanwhile, the rest of the component in the pineapple leaf fiber, which is puff, is hemicellulose and also lignin. So here we can see that the majority component of the pineapple leaf fiber is the cellulose. And we know that cellulose is biodegradable, renewable, and this fiber from pineapple leaf having good mechanical properties, and study has shown that it is also biocompatible, hydrophilic, and also having low toxicity. So not only pineapple can be the sources of biopolymers, there are several agricultural plantation or plant that can be also a source for biopolymers, such as sugarcane, rice straw, and also agave. So the first two here is commonly found in Malaysia, which is sugarcane and rice straw. Meanwhile, agave is mostly planted in South of America. Okay. The next sources of biopolymers are herbal processing waste. It is also promising because actually it is also abundant and having good characteristics. So herbal plantation is usually extracted for its bioactive compounds such as polyphenols, terpenes, and alkaloids. And after extraction of this bioactive compound, it leaves the residues of fibers from fruits and leaf of the plant. And it is discarded as waste. And this waste is actually also having the potential to be utilized as the sources of biopolymers. So from here, the examples of herbaceous waste that can be used are Eurycoma longifolia, or locally known as tongkat ali, Orthosiphon aristatus, or locally known as misai kucing. So these are two examples of herbaceous plant that is extracted for its bioactive compound. There are several, of course, but I'm going to focus only on these two. Okay, now we can have a look into how the fibers and cellulose can be extracted from the sources that I've shown just now. We have the mechanical treatment. We can also have physical treatment from the ozone. There is also biological treatment, which use enzymatic hydrolysis to break down the structure in order to obtain the cellulose. There is also chemical treatment, which is alkaline and acid treatment, as well as ionic liquid treatment. Our group also has done some studies on other resources. So here is the rice straw, and the rice straw has been cut into small fibers, subjected to alkaline treatment for certain time and also certain temperature, and also bleaching. So here you see that the fibers is disintegrated into this lump, and this lump is bleached to remove the residual of lignin. Next, I would like to also show you on the extraction of biopolymers of different resources. So the first one is on the OA, which is Orthosiphon aristatus. So here you see the untreated fiber, the alkaline treated. So when you subject the fiber for the alkaline treatment, you see that the structure break, and the first bleaching give the removal of lignin. But of course, for aristatus, Orthosiphon aristatus plant, it is required to do 2 times bleaching, okay, in order to have a fluffier structure like cotton. So for tongkat ali, TA, we subjected the fiber for the alkaline treatment and first bleaching. And for pineapple fiber, the fiber was only subjected to alkaline treatment. So here you can see that since pineapple fiber contain high amount of cellulose and less amount of lignin, it is not necessary to continue the treatment with the bleaching for pineapple fiber as it already gives you the fluffier structure after alkaline treatment. But in case of OA, you need to have 2 times of bleaching, but no further study was done for tongkat ali, which is TA. So here we can conclude that different cellulose need different purification method. Here are some chemical functional group analysis via FTIR, and here we can see that the wave number of the respective spectrum for untreated versus the treated fibers. So here we compare for OA, TA, and also PUF. So here we see that the diminished peak of 1740 is an indication of elimination of hemicellulose and also lignin. Here, we can also see the peak assignment of the untreated and also treated. So it is given in a summary for you to have a look easily. So here you see that for raw cellulose, all the peaks are visible, but the peaks for hemicellulose and lignin at 1740, which is here, has been diminished. Okay, so here, for example, for untreated OA, you have this peak. For the treated OA, this peak is no longer exists. For treated TA, you can see this peak for lignin and hemicellulose, and here is no longer exists. For untreated PUF, which is indicated in blue as purple, we can see the the peak here, but meanwhile the peak for the treated PUF has no longer exists. Let's have a look into the next slide, which discuss on the crystallinity analysis. So here we can compare the crystallinity for the treated and also raw fibers of OA, TA, as well as PUF. So here we can see that the raw sample has lower degree of crystallinity when we compare to the degree of crystallinity of the treated samples. But for the treated samples, here we can see the trend. The PUF is having higher degree of crystallinity as compared to TA and also as compared to OA. So here it again confirms that the high content of cellulose that can be found from pineapple fiber. And from here, we can also deduce that higher degree of crystallinity of PUF give the stiffness properties of the pineapple fiber, and because of lower crystallinity in TA and also OA, this means that it contains higher percentage of amorphous materials, that means non-cellulosic parts in this fiber as compared to the cellulosic part. So next, I would like to show you that cellulose can be further processed via dissolution, where it involves several pre-treatment steps, which is swelling in water, in ethanol, and also DMSC, that stands for dimethyl acetamide, for 24 hours each. Then subjected to drying. After that, these samples is dissolved in dimethyl acetamide plus lithium chloride and centrifuge prior to hydrogel formation. So here are the pineapple leaf fibers, treatment with different amount of sodium hydroxide. And here are the physical observation of the cellulose after being dissolved in this DMSC lithium chloride solvent. And in this slide, I would like to show you that after the cellulose has been dissolved in that solvent, it is also capable of forming film. In this case, hydrogel. So here are the three examples of the film form. And here shows, here is the explanation for each film form. So cellulose solution from OA has the ability to form film also, as shown here, but it is quite brittle. So here is the puff cellulose film, and as compared to OA, it is more stiffer. So in this case, we can conclude that film forming properties depends on crystallinity of cellulose. The lower the cellulose crystallinity, the lower the capability to form the film. And therefore, we can also actually combine different resources of cellulose to have different stiffer and also different properties like more rigid cellulose film. So in conclusion for the first part, biopolymers are extractable from various resources, including agriculture and herbal waste. Different sources require different approach for extraction and purification of cellulose. Cellulose extracted can be confirmed through FTIR analysis, and different sources of cellulose give different range of crystallinity percentage. Extracted cellulose can be dissolved and has film forming capability. Next, I would like to discuss on the second part of the presentation, which focus on biodegradable polyesters with shape memory effects. So what is shape memory polymers? So shape memory polymers should consist of three important parameters. It should be reversible or irreversible nature in response to external stimuli. The external stimuli can be tuned and manipulate the properties in a controllable manner. And for the temperature stimuli sample, it can show stimulated when heated above transition temperature or switching temperature. So here it should show the animation. I'm sorry, it is not available here. But anyway, let's have a look later on the stimuli that can be used to induce the shape memory effect. Here we can see that it can be induced via pH, it can be induced via light, temperature, magnetic field, and also electric. So here is an example of where the shape memory polymers can be applied. So here actually there is supposed to be an animation where the polymer here can be contract or expand so that the hand here can move. So it can act as artificial muscle. So this is the mechanism of shape memory polymers. It can memorize shape because it is stimulated above the transition temperature, as the samples consist of hard and soft segments, and it can be adjusted when prepared via blending or copolymerization. So here are the shapes of the polymer at original, and upon heating, it can be extended when applied force. Upon cooling and also unloading force, it can go back to some shape, and when reheat again, it can be recovered the original shape. So polyester-based shape memory polymers are commonly studied because they are biodegradable, biocompatible, excellent in shape memory effect, and also non-toxic. So examples are PLA, which is polylactic acid, PCl, which is polycarbolactone. However, PLA is naturally brittle and also have high relative transition temperature above 60 degrees Celsius. Hence, it is not suitable for body temperature applications. Therefore, our research is to focus on the development of new shape memory, biodegradable polyesters, by involving numerous bio-based diacids and diols. So, in our group, we have successfully produced poly-1,8-octane diol glycerol-dodecyl acid, so-called POCDA, because the monomer used to produce this polyester, which is the diols and also diacid, is from the renewable resources. This POCDA is a green diols and diacid base in order to meet the environmental chemistry goals. Specifically, the octane diol here give the backbone chains and also exhibited the thermoresponsive behavior, as the chain here can be used to increase the T transition higher than 30 degrees Celsius for shape memory effect. For the glycerol here, so we know that glycerol can be produced by transesterification of vegetable oils and also animal fat, and also having lower melting temperature. And for the diacid, it is also produced from the renewable resources and also the having short chain aliphatic dicarboxylic acid. So here are the method to produce the POCDA. So at first, the diols and diacids are stirred together at 140 degrees Celsius under nitrogen condition. And after the monomers are melted, the temperature is slightly decreased to 120 and glycerol was added. And then pre-polymer was formed in a mold, then later on cured in oven for 7 days at 120 degrees Celsius. So these are our findings for this preparation of POCDA. Then we also would like to change the transition temperature for the stimuli by blending the POCDA with PLA, the common or the current polyester for SMP and also for PCL. So we use, first of all, the PLA or PCL has been dried to remove the moisture. And then we use the Brabender to blend by internal mixing with the POCDA pre-polymer, and then hot compression molding in order to perform or to produce the shape of the sample. So here is the results of the FTIR showing pure PLA, pure POCDA. So pure PLA is the first spectrum, pure POCDA is the second spectrum, and then the blending of PLA POCDA of 90-10 and PLA POCDA of 80-20, and also PLA POCDA of 70-30. Okay, so here we can see that we have the assignment for hydroxyl group, alkyl group, and also C double bond O and oxygen ring stretching. And so from here, we can see that when we have the blend, we can see the peak assignment for both composition of PLA as well as POCDA. Here is the case for blend for PCL with POCDA. Okay, so that means we can have look into the peak assignment for PCL, pure POCDA, and also the blend. And here again, we can see that when we blend, both characteristics of the peak for each component can be observed. That consists of assignment for OH at this peak of 3,500, and then the alkyl group at about 2,900, COO group here at about 1,600, and also CO stretching at 1,200. Here is FISEM morphological study on pure PLA as well as the blend. So here you see that pure PLA and pure PCl usually having smooth surface, and POLYMERS here is having clumpy texture but remain homogeneous as one phase. For blend polymer, which is this one, okay, starting from here is 90-10, 80-20, 70-30. So increasing in PLA and PCl content, the sample is more smoother than when POLYMERS is higher content. So that means if we have PLA and PCl at a higher percentage, we can get more smooth surface of the sample. So here is the results on the shape recovery. So of the pure PLA, pure POLYMERS, and also the blend. So from this one, we can see that it has, this is the permanent or initial shape, and this is the temporary shape after folded into half and cooling. Okay, so here we see that the recovery shape after second heating. Pure POLYMERS achieve 100% of recovery rate from our calculation. Pure PLA can only recover 65% of shape. So that means our developed POLYMERS is having higher shape recovery than pure PLA. But then, since our blend consists high percentage of PLA, so it is also failed to keep its temporary shape. It is most likely because from the blend's degradation. The blend degradation occurs here because PLA is actually having high melting temperature when compared to POLYMERS. In conclusion, we can say that POLYMERS, PCl, PLA blends were successfully produced via internal matte blending and hot press molding process. Pure POLYMERS demonstrate an excellent SME with 100% recovery rate, while pure PLA possess only 65% recovery rate. Due to large temperature difference between PLA and POLYMERS, all the PLA POLYMERS blends were not able to retain its temporary shape and breaks into parts. The blend of PCl POLYMERS EPO 90-10 exhibited the best SME, which is shape memory effect composition, with 100% viscosity rate. So I come to the end of my presentation, and I would like to acknowledge all my co-authors, and also I would like to also acknowledge the Fundamental Research Grant Scheme funded by the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, and also the Research University Grant with this word number funded by University Teknologi Malaysia. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention.